Yeah, I think we should now form another panel, because thank you very much, Oras. Again, looking at everything that's already possible. I would also like you to be joined by Elinor Avsan from sharing the network in Sweden called Sveriges ekokommuner, or the Swedish eco municipalities, and you'll soon tell us a little bit more about what that is like. And also Ari Alatosava from the Finnish municipality of I, which is the champion in carbon dioxide emission reduction here in Finland. And you also happen to be part of another network, the network of the Hinkuu kommuner here in Finland, on a mission to cut your carbon emissions. So thank you for joining me here. Yeah, before we start with the questions, I would actually like you to start by explaining or telling us a little bit more about your networks and what you see as the value of that municipalities can actually collaborate to work on green transition or boosting the bioeconomy and other things. I don't know if Elinor or Ari, who would like to start? All right, Elinor. Please tell us more about Sveriges ekokommuner.
Sveriges ekokommuner. It has a long name in English. It's the National Association of Swedish Eco-Municipalities. So we used to call us as SECOM. So it's shorter. And SECOM is the oldest network in the world for sustainable development. We started in 1995. We were formed, and before that, there were some eco-municipalities that had been doing this work since 1983. We will be the leading network for sustainable, a sustainable Sweden. That's our vision. And we also have some objectives that we want to be at that our municipalities. We have 104 members, both municipalities and regions, landsting, and we want them to be role models both for themselves and for others, both in Sweden and abroad. And we want to, as an association, spread knowledge between the municipalities. We want the knowledge is within the municipalities. There is enormous amount of knowledge there, and we want to spread between them so they can connect, so they can do the good examples, take them to level up their findings. We are both politicians and officials. So when we have meetings, they come both politicians and officials at the same spot, listening in at the same conference to the same speakers. So we see the same picture when we come home and start to develop the materials that comes to decisions. Because the decision in a community, in a municipality, is the bottleneck to progress, to expire, to do the good things. And what you can get into the head of a politician, it won't happen. So I don't know if we are many politicians here. I don't know, so we are maybe two. Is there any more politicians here?
That's a good question.
It's always the picture.
Oras used to be one as well.
Yeah. So yeah. More politicians needed in these arenas, so knowledge can be put into their heads and become reality. We also are role models for foreign interests, foreign countries and regions, and also cities that contact us. And we have been in contact with Chile and Argentina now. They're coming to see how our municipalities work with questions. So since we are so old and we are much known abroad, so they contact us. So that's a rather big issue for us. And this last hours here, we have seen all this deal here has been about what we can do. So the the best thing is that SECOM becomes duplicated, or why not quadruplicated helix. So many networks like us spread knowledge.
Yeah.
So I stop there.
Thank you very much, Elinor. And yeah, we'll have questions for you as well. But Ari, please tell us more about the Hinkuu network and your role and your view on that.
Okay, thank you very much. In Finland we have 330 municipalities, and it is 2/3 of the whole public sector. And their annual turnover is 42 billion euros. So the first point is that if the municipalities do something, it really matters. Municipalities play a strong role in the market, and they are very independent. They can make their own decisions. So it's a very powerful unit. In Hinkuu network, it comes from the words hiilineutraalit kunnat, carbon neutral municipalities. The network was set up in 2007, 10 years ago, and it started with the discussion between the directors of companies and some officers from research organization. And it was one kind of a test bed, how this turn or transmission can be done in practice. So these 5 municipalities were involved in the beginning, but since 2012, many other municipalities have joined the group, and now it consists of 34 municipalities. About 650,000 people is living in these municipalities. So it approximately 12% of the Finnish population. And the network is run by Finnish Environmental Institute, and those company leaders have still a wrong role for advising and be as a part of the board. The network has 2 or 3 annual meetings, general meetings annually, and it's the key for the cooperation to meet people from the other municipalities, which actually are doing the same tasks and same targets as the others. The second one is that Finnish Environmental Institute have created carbon calculation tools. So that's why they have all the municipalities that are in the network get quite good information about their emissions. And thirdly, they give us a lot of help in communication. The aim or the target of the Hinkuu network is that these municipalities can achieve 80% reduction of emissions by 2030. So 20 years early than what is the target in EU.
How far have you come so far? I know E has come very far. Please tell us about your numbers, and also in general in the network. Do you have a number of that?
I don't know exactly the average, but of course it varies a lot. Because the resources and strengths of the municipalities are different. And one aim is to rely on their own resources and strengths. In E, we have a very good resource, that is wind. When you are walking on the street, you don't necessarily recognize that as a strength, but it's really a strength. So we have attracted private investment to wind energy about 160 million euros during the last 5 years. So that's one part of the story. If I tell some other examples, what in practice the municipalities have done, this to attract this renewable energy investment is one point. The other bullet is energy efficiency. So municipalities are actually, we have a huge amount of buildings and facilities, and it's one important thing to use them better and also use the energy better than before. The other is the energy efficiency is one of the key issues at the moment, and also is that to change the fossil fuel to another local produced energy. So economical and ecological issues are hand in hand. You cannot take one out of the solution, because if you want the politics or political commitment, you need also show that this is profitable, and profitable quite a short time, not only 2050 or something like that. So, for example, in our investments, we have invested 1.7 million in municipality of E, so-called clean tech investments. The payback time varies from 3 years to 10 years. So you need short-term goals and you need short-term actions. Okay, maybe that's
Thank you very much. Before, we have a question.
Yeah, I think we have a few questions on the board, so I would just like to ask those from Oras Tynkkynen. Can you please elaborate on the price tags for scaling up those 15 climate solutions? And also, do you think that there are financial incentives that are central to lowering the CO2 emissions rapidly?
Well, like I said earlier, the total net costs of scaling up all these 15 solutions would come to about $13 billion US dollars by 2030. And that varies a lot because some of these solutions have net savings and some have net costs. So it's a net total of all these 15 solutions. And obviously we are talking about global averages, so the prices would vary in various different countries, but this is the kind of global total over time. But what Ari was saying earlier about the solutions needing to be profitable, I think it's good to bear in mind that some of these savings would come over time, so over the coming 15 years or so, whereas the cost might happen right on day one. So I think that is one of the challenges we have in scaling up these solutions. And again, if you look at the various solutions, the kind of drivers and success stories behind them depend on various issues, but one that seems to be quite common to basically all low-carbon solutions, quite understandably, is a sufficient price on carbon. If you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult to introduce many of these solutions. If you do have that, then many of these solutions that may not seem so attractive at first actually start to make a whole lot of sense. And we, in Nordic countries, obviously have a lot of experience on setting a price on carbon through various measures, obviously including taxes.
I think another important thing, which I know you do in the Sveriges ekokommuner, is that you also measure annually and you show each other where you stand on certain indicators, and that is also a way to enlighten the decision makers and the politicians, right? So I don't know if you just said a few words about that.
Yes, we have 12 measures that the municipalities report to our kansli, and those measures, at them you can see which municipalities are ahead, which can I contact to do the same, because the good example results in a measure, and that's one way of dealing to spread good examples, contacting those municipalities. Also, small municipalities can be very progressive. They often have shorter decision path and can be ahead of big municipalities. That's often just to change a policy may take 2 years. In a small municipality, the decision can come rather quick, and you can see also the result from. So it's not always the small regions and municipalities are left behind. They can
exactly.
be
You're
ahead.
actually challenging this paradigm that Hans was talking about. It's not
Yes.
the metropolises that are leading the way always. There are lots of good examples of rural municipalities that are doing a great job here on cutting
And
carbon.
also, when you visit a place like this and come home with new experience and knowledge, you have to persuade all the other people at home what you have been hearing. And that is the tricky thing. How do you get a kommunfullmäktige or a board to listen to your version of what you have heard and come to the decision? And there is where we can help those persons in the municipalities to take this path forward, to see how others did this thing. So that's one of our missions, to help in
Thank
decision
you.
making.
Any other questions to Oras, to the others over there? Yes.
I just wondered, that's a question to both Seckham and Hinkuu. Do you have any collaboration with the European initiative, the Covenant of Mayors? Do you?
We have support our members to also get involved, the mayors, this EU. So many of our municipalities are both.
Okay, but you don't like collaborate with the administration?
We have been over time. So yes, not so much now, but we have. It's more the climate municipalities that Växjö they are more involved with this.
Yeah, we actually have two networks in Sweden. It's Sveriges ekokommuner and Sweden's climate kommuner. So it's and they're actually collaborating as well. So, but anyway, you want to hear more about those? You can talk to Henrik here in the red suit. Well, thank you. Any other question to the panel here or about the green to scale? I'm really curious to know, actually, Oras, regarding the green to scale. What do you see as the next step? Do you have any low-hanging fruit, as we usually say, like the biking situation or these lower cost solutions here that you will try and really implement somewhere else? Do you have any funding for that, or is there a continuation of this project?
Yes, so if there are any funders out there, we are very much interested
we
in follow-up projects.
We have one in the corner there.
No, but perhaps more seriously, we will have an evaluation meeting early next year, and we will look at different options. And I think there are very many different options on the table. One is that now what we did in this Nordic Green to Scale study was to look at Nordic solutions and then scale them up internationally. What if, instead of doing that, we would look at the potential of Nordic solutions within the Nordic region? How much could Finland cut emissions by implementing all the best practices from other Nordic countries? Another example, we've been talking about the role of the local government. What if we did the same exercise but for municipalities, looking at the best cases of Nordic municipalities and then trying to estimate the impact of other municipalities in the whole region implementing those same solutions? So I think there are many interesting possibilities for future follow-up projects. So funders, please take note, and you can come and talk to me afterwards.
Great, and please collaborate with ekokommuner and Hinkuu network and so on. Oh, one final thing from Pipsa.
Yeah, not from me, but from the audience. I think it's targeted to Ari and the Hinkuu network. How do the municipalities share good practices and ways of working? Something very practical.
Yes, excellent communication is one part of it, but let me give you an example. There was a new type of public procurement in one municipality. It consists of solar panels, and they have managed it quite well. So when we met them in the meeting, and they told that story, so we just copied it.
Nice and easy.
It's the easiest way to share information. And also, when you are taking part of these meetings, now we have information on 33 other municipalities who are the exact person in that organization who are dealing with that kind of things. And that personal information is very important.
I'm sure. And next time maybe you're 60 municipalities when we meet in a year from now or something at next Nordregio Forum. Thank you very much to the panel. Now we've actually come to the final part